In question 4, we have to write equations for all the given statements. So let's start with part 1. In part 1, the statement says the sum of numbers x and 4 is 9. So this word is means equal to in the equation, and if you look at what you have on the left of this word, you have the sum of numbers x and 4. So this gives you the LHS, and this is equal to 9. So that gives you the RHS. So this is how you have to think in each part. So sum of numbers x and 4 can be written as x plus 4, and the RHS is and this is equal to 9. So the RHS is 9, and the equation becomes x plus 4 equal to 9. So quite straightforward. Let's do part 2 now. So in part 2, the statement says the difference between y and 2 is 8. So is becomes equal to in the equation. Now the difference between y and 2, this is your LHS, and 8 is your RHS. The difference between y and 2 can be written as y minus 2. Technically speaking, it could also be 2 minus y, but in this case, because y is written first, so we will go with y minus 2, and on the RHS we will have 8. So y minus 2 is equal to 8 is the equation that we get. Now let's go to part 3. In part 3, the statement says 10 times a is 70. So is this word is equal to in the equation, and on the LHS you will have 10 times a, and on the RHS you will have 70. Okay, so 10 times a on the LHS, and on the RHS you have 70. So the equation becomes 10a is equal to 70. Now let's go to part 4. In part 4, the statement says the number b divided by 5 gives 6. Gives is the same meaning as equal to, right? So what this means is that on the LHS you have the number b divided by 5, and on the RHS you will have 6, and these two will be equal. So on the LHS we get b divided by 5, on the RHS we have 6, and these two are equal. So b by 5 is equal to 6 is your equation in part 4. In part 5, we have 3/4 of t is 15. So the LHS will be 3/4 of t, and the RHS will be 15. So in part 5, the LHS is 3/4 of t, or 3t by 4. I can write it like this also, 3t by 4, and the RHS is 15, and we equate these two to get our equation in part 5. In part 6, the statement says 7 times m plus 7 gets you 77. So gets you means equal to, is equal to 77. So that means that the LHS is 7 times m plus 7, and the RHS is 77. Now 7 times m plus 7 can be written as 7m plus 7, right? 7 times m is 7m, and then plus 7 you write plus 7. So you get the LHS as 7m plus 7, and the RHS is 77, and you equate these two, and that's your equation for part 6. In part 7, the statement is 1/4 of a number minus 4 gives 4. So gives becomes equal to, and the LHS becomes 1/4 of a number minus 4, and the RHS becomes 4. Now we're not given the variable here, we are just told that 1/4 of a number minus 4. So let's assume that that number is x. So 1/4 of x minus 4, so let's write it like this, 1/4 of x minus 4. So this becomes your LHS, and the RHS becomes 4, and these two are equal. So this is our equation for part 7. Now let's go to part 8. In part 8, the statement says if you take away 6 from 6 times y, you get 60. You get translates to the equal to sign in the equation. So this means that the LHS is take away 6 from 6 times y, and the RHS is 60. Now take away 6 from 6 times y. How do you write this as an expression? So 6 times y is 6y, so 6y, and take away 6 from this number, so 6y minus 6, and this gives you 60. So on the RHS we will have 60. So 6y minus 6 is equal to 60 is your equation in part 8. And finally in part 9, the statement says if you add 3 to 1/3 of z, you get 30. So this becomes the equal to sign in the equation, and the LHS comes from add 3 to 1/3 of z, and the RHS is 30. So add 3 to 1/3 of z. How do you write this as an expression? So 1/3 of z can be written as z by 3. Add 3 to this. So z by 3 plus 3 is your LHS. Your RHS is 30, and these two are equal. So this is your equation in part 9. So with this, all the parts of question 4 are completed. To learn more about how QMath can help you crack school and board exams, explore QMath Leap, a live online classroom program run by highly experienced and committed teachers.